Hello, Warriors. Let's have a great week. How's everyone doing? Everyone doing okay? Give me a Y if you're doing okay. And how about a Y if you're in the positive mental mindset to have a good week? Hi, David. How are you? BW, how's it going? Hello, Hardianto. Mark, everybody. Okay, I want to quickly review what I said in silver on Friday. So after the Tomahawks flew, I was chatting with Steve Volge. I said, you have a classic 3 driver in silver. Who remembers? Hello, Tamir. David Hooper, nice to meet you. You guys remember this? Okay, take a picture. I said there could be one more drive that would not confirm. That's exactly what happened. Okay, thank you, Hardianto. And the reversal happened later in the session. Did anyone short it? Or at the minimum, did you take profits on your long metal positions like Blake did after the missiles flew? Blake knows that you know, people who buy headlines today sell newspapers tomorrow. You guys ever hear that one? Thank you, Eric.
That's a good one, Dale. Good morning, by the way. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, if I was just patient enough to just wait for these setups, and if people are interested, once they become members, I'll teach them how to do this, and also during the sessions, Blake.
Awesome.
So, okay. So I have a go ahead, buddy.
No, I was going to say I'll let you continue until and whenever you want to give it to me for just kind of what I'm looking at this morning. But that's okay. You were going to ask me a question.
I'm going to hand it off to you in a minute. I've just a couple of things I want to say to the community.
Sure.
I have a question, and Blake, you could answer this question too. What is your most precious, valuable currency?
Your time. Okay,
Blake knows the answer. So you guys, some people would say, oh, it's gold. Oh, it's, the euro because it's going to 150. And Blake is right. It's time. You know why? Because money comes and goes. Time is gone forever. Make it count. So I just want to say that Blake and Nick and Steve and Stelios and Grega put in a lot of time to give you the best, most compelling, actionable analysis. I see it every afternoon. All these multiple alerts coming out. Who would commit to validating Blake and Nicola and Blake's idea to have a free room for you to at least take a trial? Give me a Y if you would take a trial to validate the hard work of the F-18. Can someone please post a link for these people to sign up for a trial? So you're risking $1, you're risking a micro lot 1 pip. Okay? I also want to point out that I think that Nick's bottom call on Euro Yen is still shaping up. Here it is. We're diverging here too. Nick came on live Friday to call it. So all I could say is where I was before, guys, people were paying $100 a month to be in the room just to learn my one trick, okay? My RSI work, my 3 drive work, and people are paying $100 a month. You get a much better value here. You're getting 5 of us, okay? And you're getting alerts. After I left the room, that was it. People were on their own unless they saw a tweet from me. So great value. I think that more than 5 could commit to a trial in here today. May as well get this out of the way, and then we'll go to work and pay for your pips many times over with this kind of great input. Okay? All right, that's handled, Blake. So Blake, We're probably
Yes,
due
sir.
for some type of pullback in the dollar here, don't you think?
You know, I don't know. We got Janet Yellen talking today from the University of Michigan, and I closed out my dollar shorts, or excuse me, dollar longs. I was short the euro dollar over the weekend. I closed it out at 75 last night, actually, even though we were down testing those lows earlier. I don't mind re-entering dollar longs. I have to be more. I just have to see what Janet Yellen says, and everybody is expecting a hawkish, kind of hawkish slant following all the Fed governors from last week, and if that's the case, the dollar should continue its rally. But I'm not super confident, so therefore
tough to do it in the hole here, isn't it?
It is, and also, the dollar index hit a 50% retracement. It's coming really close to its downtrend line, and so I'm not really 100% sold on the idea that it's ready to continue to explode. I mean, we made a big move on Friday, but we're at a real critical level. So I think after today, we should have a good idea of what the dollar is going to do, and I'm not willing to step in front of the market and assume I know which way it's going to go. Not at this stage in the game. And gold's gold's testing some lows right now. The dollar is testing some resistance, or and gold's testing support. But I think
I like Grega's count on the site for the gold and the silver, that we're going to enter some type of ABC. I was going to share it with the community. In fact,
why don't you do that right now?
Here's Grega's count. So we're going to get some type of B wave according to Gregor, and then there's one more shot down towards 1760, and I think gold, it was let's see, I could pull up the gold. Did you guys sign up? If you did, I'll show you the gold. Let's see. So I could go to the gold. It's the same. So this is a site, and I noticed, Tamir, you said you want to get the most out of a trial. Come on, man. The trial's a giveaway. Anyway, let's see here. People want to get the most out of a trial.
Well, no, getting the most out of the trial is what we give them. Everybody gets the full access, so you have all the tiers in the trial. So you get you use it at its fullest capacity, and then from there you can decide. Oh, I really don't pay attention to harmonics or Elliott.
I guess I'm just biased. I mean, to me, it's your packages are under market. So let's see here.
Well, we wanted to keep it affordable. That was the goal.
I'm nominating you for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Whatever.
For humanitarianism, Blake. So I'm trying to get to the gold here. It was in the stream. Let me just look at the stream. There it is. But basically, Greg is looking for the same thing in gold, a little ABC in there, and this is the kind of analysis you get. So I don't know about you, Blake. I know you trade your own stuff, but are you influenced at all by the rest of the team and their looks and what they're thinking? And I know you have that other little community that you trade with. Are you a big believer, because you're a successful trader, in intelligence gathering? Some people have the philosophy that they'd rather trade in a bomb shelter and not hear anything. I think
no, because the traders I respect, obviously there's several out there, but the team in particular, I respect all their views. So my personal take is if I can get their analysis lining up with the way that I'm thinking, then that just that enforces my decision making. So that's the whole reason of
so you look for face confluence.
Absolutely, because
Okay.
there are plenty of things that I don't see, and I rely on the team to show me things that I wasn't looking at.
Right. Okay.
Hey
So,
Dale, I'm going to be back in just about 5 minutes. Okay.
all right. Excuse my ignorance, but why is Janet talking today? Do you know what's the event?
She's speaking at the University of Michigan,
Oh.
and she's I'm assuming gonna talk about monetary policy, and yeah, so
that's where the consumer confidence survey comes out of the University of Michigan. One of
yeah,
them.
it sure does, and so she is speaking. So I'm looking to see. Let me see.
I do an imitation of Janet Yellen that's very popular. Have you ever heard it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it goes something like this.
Well, if the economy continues to strengthen a little bit and the data is much here, we could tighten and we might do it because Donald Trump was mean to me during the campaign and said that the rates were artificially too low.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's funny, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Stelios is here. Stelios is here. Hey, Dale, I'll be checking in just a few minutes, okay?
All right, buddy. All right. Okay. I know most of you like that Janet Yellen imitation. You want to see my face? Forget it. Okay, so Blake's around. Stelios may be around today. And
Yeah,
I think there's a pop. I think there's a pop coming in Euro. All right. Let's go to some shorter term stuff. And also the dollar. I've seen a count that the dollar is pretty close. While we have time here, are any of my guys here that want to show what they're thinking about? I got a great look from Cyric on the dollar. Cyric's one of my crew. Let me look for it here. That we could be ending wave 4. Let's see if it comes up. So just the value of the community and seeing different looks. Cyric, people complain he's got a busy chart, but he's excellent. So he's thinking we're near the end of wave 4 here. There could be one more shot down, and then we get a 5. So I don't think you want to be long the dollar here. Third drive possibility in the guppy. Let's see what you have, buddy. Hardianto's excellent. Hi, Andy. How are you, Ozzy? Hardianto, you still short Canada? That still looks good. Okay. So there have been plenty of opportunities to put Canada on, hasn't there? Hi, Luca. Thank you, buddy. So I'm a little slow with this. I used to be able to just click a link, but can't do that here. It's still not working for me. So be patient with me. I don't know why. Maybe this is it. Let's see. What happened?
What happened with you, Dale?
Am I here?
Yo, you're there. You're here.
Okay. Okay, that wasn't it. So I'm still working on getting these links. I know I have to copy them. There we go. So I'm trying to show a look, possible 3 drive here. Let's try it again. In the guppy. And you guys had a buy alert in the guppy Friday, didn't you, Blake? I'm having trouble showing this. So there was Cyrix.
No, we didn't have a buy update on. It was just an update on the pound yen.
Just an update?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me go back to my screen. Luca has something here. I'm sorry, Alex, I wasn't able to show it. The link didn't work for me for some reason. Try this one. Luca acknowledges you for having taught him how to trade, Blake. You were one of the major influences.
Luca was on my webinar quite a bit on when I did the morning edge.
I forgot who it was. It was you and somebody else that he acknowledged for turning him into a good trader. Oh
well, I am honored.
Yeah, you know, we've helped a lot of people. A lot of them, Blake, we don't even know that we helped. That's a pretty good legacy. I know you're a father, but helping people in an arena where there's so many barracudas out there that want to sell the secret of trading for $1,000. So, yeah. Okay, so here's a nice look by Luca. It's on breakout notice here. So just the looks from the community have a lot of value, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ricardo Picasso. This is a Picasso from Luca. Let me try yours, Panna Banana. See if this works. Okay, we're looking at the DAX here. So what's your view on that, Banana? Your bias. You think we're going to attack the blue line one more time? You could hear me, right? Bias always long. Okay, you must have seen that video about the buy the dip video. Buy the dip video. Okay. So everyone thank Luca and Banana for sharing some views today. Anything else from you guys you want to share? Arianto, I could try yours again. Third drive possibility. And the guppy. You know, that's kind of the way that Euro Yen looks to me too. Guys, what do you think of my technical prowess of mastering this room and taking 10 minutes to show a screenshot? Okay. Interesting view by Hardianto. Now, don't fade Hardianto. Okay, I've been watching Hardianto trade for a while. This is interesting. So he's looking for one more shot down, and we could have a 1, 2, 3, and a 5-wave countdown here, and then a big rally. That's a beautiful view. Everyone thank Hardianto for this. Thank you, buddy. So here's a view that you could prepare for a trade. You know, instead of impulse trading, when you get views like this and they line up with what you're seeing or FA is seeing, you know, you'll probably end up with an FA alert down there to remind you it's a possibility that they'll see this. Always better to plan your trade. You agree? Than to come in here and say, let me look around, I need to find something to do. So you had all weekend to prepare with your different technical levels that are going to be important to you today. And this is what you can do even during the week. You're going to get plenty of ideas right here in the room. The combination of the community of FACE tacticians, technicians, traders, and the FA Elite Analysis by guys like Blake Morrill, Nicola Duke, Grega Horvat, Steve Volge, and Celios. I don't know. This is intelligence gathering at a great level. So thank you, Hardianto. Nice look. Thank you, Warriors, for sharing your work. You know, people, let me ask you this, Hardianto. How long have you been trading, and how long did it take you to become consistent and proficient and start performing in the market? You want to share that with the community? Oh, Jess is showing, here's some supply-demand views, 8 years. Okay, that's an honest answer. 2 years to learn. Okay, so it really took you 2 years until you started having success. Is that what you're saying to me? And the whole community? Okay, so be patient with yourself. You can't learn experience. It only comes with the passing of time. And in our business, that's screen time and living through things. You have to live through things. So what I like about the community is there's many different disciplines and methods for trading. Jess's supply demand stuff is great. I think it's better, you know, it's better than Sam Seiden. Okay, 1220 for a potential demand. So it's similar to Grega's look in silver and gold. You get it. This may have been A, B, C down to 1220 for a nice buy. These purple lines are demand zones, and Jess teaches people and reminds people to look left. So we're looking left at this demand zone for retracement and then back up into the supply zones above here. Thank you, Jess. Great look. If you like the looks that we've gotten from the community today, since I really can't see your answers, give me a Y. So we've been open for 23 minutes. I think there have been several ideas along with FA stuff. Already a productive session. Do you agree with me? And we've only been at it 20 minutes. So you could have come in here with a blank slate and now have some setups, compelling things to consider in the coming days. Mission accomplished. Anyone in a drawdown right now? I think the euro's going to come out of here. Anyone in a drawdown? You are, Banana? Are you worried? Today or long term? He's not worried? Great. Because if you get worried, you're not going to trade well. What takes away the worry is risk management. No one likes to be stopped out or be wrong. But that's, if you drive a taxi cab, you're going to get tickets, right? So if you trade, you're going to be wrong. I believe the difference between pros and amateurs are pros know how to lose. So they have money left to be right with it.
Dale, if you can chime in and say something.
Go ahead, Stelios.
For those who don't know me, I'm Stelios, and I used to be a market maker in the city. And I just wanted to point out that when I left the city and I started trading for myself, it was a completely different experience. Even for somebody who has done a lot of trade in the past, the situation can change. So my point basically is, it took me a year and a half to really start becoming profitable after stopping as a market maker and starting trading as a as a retail client basically. So for the people who are who finding it difficult in the beginning, the main thing, like Dale said so many times, is patience, discipline, and just be very careful about what you do. My biggest problem in the beginning was over trading. So you just take your time, pick your setups, and then you're gonna start seeing results. And I know because it happened to me. It took me a year and a half to start actually making money.
Yeah, I like the surfer metaphor, Stelios. Great surfers, when they're sitting there in the lineup, they don't try and catch every wave. They wait patiently for the right setup of waves before they attack a wave. So
yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
Trading's like that too. And it's great to hear your voice in here.
It's good to be here, man.
Okay. So what are you stalking? Any views you want to share? I know you're a long-term cable bull and long-term silver bull. Right?
I'm actually long-term sterling bull, not necessarily against the dollar, but although that's one of them as well. But it's funny you talked about silver this morning in the beginning, because it's been one of my favorite trades for the past years, and on the long side. And what I do is I always take a step back before every trade. I'm not a micro trader. I'm not a day trader. I usually put on trades which have horizons of weeks, months. I'm much more longer term trader. So what I've done is I take a step back, and for silver, for example, I try to see what is it that moves its value. And there's a lot of things that people talk about. They talk about real rates. As real rates rise, then silver and precious metals will drop, which is, if you look at 2004, 2006 in the US, from the hiking cycle, actually precious metals went up almost 100%. So it's not a perfect correlation, although there is a correlation. You look at supply and demand. So silver especially, there is a lot of demand on the back of industrial applications, health, electronics, all these solar panels, all this stuff. There's a lot of physical demand for silver. But on the other hand, silver's price is being heavily affected by paper trading. So it's a delicate balance, and you can have big streaks, like silver had 7-8 weeks in a row a month ago or a couple of months ago, but then again you can have big down moves. So what I do for the past few years, I've been a big silver bull, but I'm not always long. So I've gone long 4 times already. Pick my entry and exit based on technical analysis, but my core view is that I like being long silver. So I do this. I'm sure many people do this, but I do this analysis where I combine my macro view, and then I say, right, I want to be long silver. Where's a good entry point? Where's a good exit point? So that's the kind of stuff I look at, and that's, I think, is what is reflected on my analysis as well.
Yeah, interesting view about the paper market. Jim Sinclair talks about it, the emancipation of precious metals from the paper market, contrived all the contracts that are there, the open interest. It's really not even enough physical metal to cover these positions. That's why he opened an exchange, or he's chairing a cash carry exchange in Singapore. So it's like the Civil War, trying to emancipate the precious metals from the central bankers.
Well, the thing to note is that if you look at open interest for silver, for example, I think it's over a year's worth of actual supply. If you compare that to something like copper, or I don't know what, it's usually like 5 or 10% of a year's supply. So you have this mismatch between what's being traded in the paper market and what actually exists. So it's not that this is always going to drive the market, but it can have a big effect, especially short term. So you see these huge drawdowns. Usually, basically, usually they just sell the hell out of silver using all these these paper trades. So basically, it's a tough thing to follow. I've been looking at it for years, and it doesn't make much sense, but it does have can have a big effect on price, especially short term.
Okay, I just can everyone see my Canada chart? Thank you, Stelios. So last week I drew this line, said we were down here, and said you could short it on a rally to 440, 450. Then we had the big break on Friday's week NFP. It recovered. We're hanging right here on the verge of what I think would be at least a short-term technical breakdown in Canada. I think that there's plenty of sell stops under this 32.5 level. So I'm looking for stop hunts first here and then here. And then I'd start to look to book shorts. Give me a while if you understand the analysis. You don't have to agree with me. I just want to make sure you get it. Everyone gets it? Okay. Okay. So we have a great interview lined up today, Blake. Alex is going to be with us, Ivanovich, and he tweets awesome. A lot of my stream, and I'm going to ask Alex how he got started. The interviews I used to do, I always would start with, who do you blame for you getting involved in this industry?
Are you asking me, or are you going to ask him?
Well, that's what I normally ask. But okay, you don't blame everyone. You don't blame anyone. You're blessed. How did it happen for you? I don't remember the story. How did it happen for you to end up after leaving the Marines? How did you end up doing this?
That it's such an interesting story. I mean, I was in college, and as you can imagine, I spent my first 4 years after high school in the Marines, and so I missed all the fraternity parties and that type of stuff. So by the time I started going to college, a lot of my friends were either graduating, just graduated, or whatnot. And so I was in the hurry up and try to finish school as quick as I could. So I was working as I was selling retail clothes at the Guess store, which is like the Guess.
Guess jeans. Yeah.
But back in the 90s, and then I was working as a doorman and a bartender in a bar, and then trying to go to school full time. I had a full load. I was trying to take 4 or 5 classes at a time.
20 hours a semester.
Yeah, I mean, I was barely sleeping and just working my butt off for like about a year and a half. And my best friend he'd left the Marine Corps, and he went into insurance sales, and then from there he started as a stockbroker, and he was just a natural salesperson. I mean, that was just that's his gig. And he's like, hey, he was making like 10 grand a month. He's like, hey, you should be a stockbroker. I'm like, I don't know anything about the stock market. He's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You just need to be, you just need to be able to sell.
It's still that way for them.
Well, no. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. But back then,
they collect assets now, Blake. They're not traders.
Yeah, they're wealth managers now. But back then, it was a bit easier being a stockbroker because people didn't have Google, so you would just call them, and
they didn't have internet. The internet broke the brokerage model too.
It did, but I could call somebody and say, hey, I'm buying this stock because this money manager is doing this, and or it's because of whatever X, Y, and Z, and people would buy the idea. But I didn't like it, but I started as a stockbroker, and I left college after 2 years of college. I left, and I said, well, I'm gonna try this out, and I got my license, and I didn't like being a broker. I didn't like calling people and selling them, even though we did the Pixar IPO. That was pretty interesting, and people made a lot of money there. But I just didn't. It wasn't my cup of tea, and I had a friend that was a very wealthy individual, and I sold him on the idea that we wanted to start trading back in the mid 90s, and so I started trading as an independent trader back in '96. So
the Souls Bandits.
I was a So's bandit, and
okay.
I ended up being one of the largest traders here in the Phoenix area, and and I used to trade about 3,000 to 5,000 shares of internet stocks at a time, and I would I'd generate $3,000-4,000 in commissions every day. So I had to make that much money just to make money. So, but did really well as a trader, and that kickstarted my whole career. So that, in a nutshell, that's how I did it.
Yeah, interesting. So,
Yeah.
and a great start too. What was your worst year? What was your worst year? In the industry?
My worst fear is my worst year. Well, it was my first. It was my first year.
Okay. All right.
It's definitely my first year. I mean, I started with 50 grand and I lost 30 of it.
Okay.
And I didn't, I mean, when you're a trader, you just don't get paid until you start making money. So
yeah,
it took me a year to get out of that hole, and then I eventually turned 20 grand into 1.5 million. So it was in the next couple of years. So it was a good run after that. But it was tough. It was
you had to get hit in the head with a ball peen hammer for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
I was hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, I did an interview with a gentleman by the name of Aaron. Aaron from Talk with Traders, and Aaron Fifield. He did an interview with me about my beginnings, and I was trading on I was trading and eating ramen noodles at the time, and I was really poor. I mean, it was a struggling time for me. Fortunately, I didn't have a family or anything at that. But I mean, a wife and kids. It would have been a very challenging time in my career. But no, it was a time where I could take a lot of risk and make a go at it, and I did. But it was definitely a interesting time in my life. So
great story.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So
that's how he got started. Everyone doing okay? Any other shares? Let's see what we have here. I have something.
By the way, the market is just really tightly consolidating ahead of, the stock market's actually popping here at the open, and we're seeing a rally in equities and risk, which is typical on a Monday. It's put some pressure on precious metals. The dollar's not really doing much right now as we wait for Janet Yellen. So the what's moving right now is equities. Equities are the predominant mover at the moment. Because
U.S. dollar yen has stabilized, and the debate is on if it's an important low. I don't think so. Well, we talked that we could rally to 112.5 in the end and still be no good.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is you got to watch bonds. Bonds had a really key reversal at the end of last week, and I can show you if you have a moment before Alex gets here. I'll show you a couple of charts, just real quick, that I think are a big deal. If you guys didn't watch my week ahead video that was posted yesterday. Here's the euro dollar in a very tight consolidation, but I think the big charts that we need to watch are this is the 10-year. I mean, this is the 10-year, real big reversal, top of the range. You could, that false breakout right there was a big deal. And you can also take a look, and here, let me pull up this chart really quick. Here's the ZBs, and this is the 30-year. It's a 5-minute chart, but let's go over to the daily. And you can see this gravestone doji, if you will, big reversal off of these off the highs, all false breakouts, and that really takes a toll, on the market that was looking to get squeezed. And, we had this false breakdown over here. Everybody was starting to get long, thinking that the bond market's going to really squeeze, and then it reversed really hard. We had those reversals. We had, if you take a look at the precious metals, we had gold and silver, big reversals off these highs. There's silver right there. Gold, also false breakout above, key resistance. And so that's weighing on the precious metals. And so my 2 cents is I want to really see what Janet Yellen says today. If she is indeed hawkish and follows the hawkish, line along with all the other Fed members that are out there, that we can start expecting another hike going into beginning of May. And if that's the case, beginning in May or June, if that's the case and the market really believes that there's going to be a couple more, a couple more hikes this year, then the dollar might continue to strengthen. The euro is in breakdown territory. I think while it stays below, the 106, the pound's popping a little bit, but as long as the euro stays below this like 106. 30, 106.40 level, it's probably going to be a little heavy. But if we get above 106.30 today, that's going to be a squeeze. And I think you have to be on the lookout for a possible squeeze higher in the euro. But I shorted a little bit of euro this morning at 105.90, and I'm just kind of sitting in it. I'm down 3 pips in it. I'm just kind of sitting in it right now.
Mr. Pinkert thinks 107 over 107 to clean out the bears from the last few weeks. And
you think so?
I think they're going to clean them out. I think we're close to that event.
It could be. It could be. And I won't be in the euro dollar by 1 o'clock. So
okay.
I'm just kind of scalping around right now. Because I took a position short the euro on Friday. And I was short it. I was pretty aggressively short at 90, 91, and I closed it at 75 overnight as we, are bouncing off of these lows. And I know there's a big 618 right here, and there's this, this previous support over here, and I believe we're just going to be bouncing around going into today.
All right, got it.
All right. Well, yeah, and I think after today we'll have a pretty good indication of what the dollar is going to do. I don't think that between now and 1 o'clock you're going to get much more than just some choppiness, and then after Janet Yellen, it'll probably give us, like I said, some pretty good ideas of what we should be doing with the dollar, with precious metals, with bonds. Equities, I don't know. The equity markets have been, very resilient. They don't go down. So I can't.
Peter was saying maybe the peak comes in after earnings season, which begins here. That would allow for the correction in gold, the correction in bonds.
I've heard everybody and their brothers, mothers, uncles, sister talk about earnings, but I've heard him talk about it for years. This earnings season, this is it, this quarter, this quarter is going to win. Expectations come down. They come out a little bit better than expectations, and then
it's amazing how they manage that, isn't it?
Yeah, because analysts are always wrong, and then they just ratchet lower their expectations. The market beats them, and then the market does well. I'm not necessarily a bull up here. I'm reluctant to be bearish, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So and really, I have no clear view of the stock market. It's way too high to be buying risk, but it's not weak enough to be shorted either. So when the stock market starts going down on good news, that might be the next indication that I'm looking at that says, hey, maybe the stock market's ready to pull back. But it doesn't matter if it's good or bad news, the market goes up. So the key to that last statement was, it doesn't matter even if the stock market is, there's bad news, the market still rallies. So tells you how strong the sentiment is. It's not one to be faded just yet.
Yeah, it's amazing how people are just accepting. For years, it was central bank intervention that was the lifeblood of the market, and that's changed, and everyone's expecting the handoff to be completed, although the Fed is beginning to lean the other way, at least not as accommodative, and the market has bought that the handoff is going to happen. So
Right.
interesting that, you know, we could need hopium for all these years, and then all of a sudden we don't need it anymore and things are still okay.
You know, there are a couple things though, technically that, you know, talking about the S&P and talking about like equities in general. The S&P, for example, we have really found ourselves posting lower highs, which is important. If you're looking for a turn, that this is important development, that we continue to post lower highs. This is that old, you know, as you called it, the throwover from the wedge.
Yeah, right.
You know, so that means we have to get below 23.15 to really be bearish. What else is interesting about the market is if you look at the DAX. The DAX posted what could be a big double top. I mean, we found a lot of resistance up here. Steve Vogie is also looking at this being in an ascending wedge, which it very much could be. You know, so there are, and this is the DAX, and you know, and you take a look at the you know, the FTSE. The FTSE's broken out of that ascending wedge. So there are a lot of things that are signaling that the stock market might be tired here.
Yeah, warning, kind of like where we're getting little preemptive warnings.
I've seen those warnings time and time again fail.
Negated. I know.
Yeah, so just because we're seeing it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It's starting to show some signs of tiredness up here. But, you know, heck, we could start a full-scale war with North Korea, and war tends to be good overall for the stock market, believe it or not. So, you know, you never know. But we are seeing some cracks in the foundation of the markets, but I don't think it's enough to signal, you know, hey, the market's ready to turn it. And in the currency market, if we start to see it, we're going to see it through the yen, in my opinion. So the yen is weak at the moment, but if the yen starts to strengthen, that might be our signal.
Yeah, great point.
So yeah, so with that being said, guys, I think we're gonna from a currency standpoint, I think we're gonna have a much better view of what to do in the currency market this afternoon. For now, you know, be nimble. Don't get too excited. Don't get excited chasing the market one direction or the other right now, because I think it's going to be a very listless market going into the next, you know, couple hours till we hear Janet Yellen speak. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it back over to you, Dale, because I know you have an interview coming up.
Okay, thanks, Blake. Thanks for sharing your views.
You're welcome. It's coming back over to you right now. You'll see it passed over to you. Thanks, guys.
So this was a look from Dimitri on Euro Yen. Interesting, you know, Nick is starting to probe it down here. He's got some triple fibs in here. Interesting look. Thank you, Dimitri. Interesting look. So I'm going to take one more 5-minute break, and then I'll be interviewing Alex, so stand by. I'm going to be interviewing at Alex FX, Alex Ivanovich. Are you in the house, Alex? I'll be back in 5, and we'll begin our interview. Look at me in that suit. You're going to be the presenter, Alex, so beautiful.
Yes,
there you are. There you are, Alex. Great to hear your voice. Great to hear your voice, buddy.
Great to be here with you, Dale, as always.
So, Alex, you're a a dedicated tweeter in my stream at Forex Stop Hunter, and you know I really appreciate all the looks and things that you share in my stream. And you know, people ask me, Alex, they go, Dale, why do I share other people or you know promo their work when they could be considered a competitor? You know, and I look at it this way, you know, what's the cost of thanking somebody, validating them, and lifting them up? Because, you know, it's not always the guys with 50,000 followers that are the best traders. So I appreciate all the hard work you put out there, and maybe for the community you could tell us, like I asked Blake earlier, I know that you've told me before, but you know, my memory isn't that great. I can remember everyone's trades, but not everyone's stories. How did you get involved in the industry?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving me a chance to share with your community, and also letting me in your timeline, because I knew that you have a lot of followers, and that word will be spread, and I hope that we did some help to the people. Regarding my beginnings, I started as a stockbroker first.
You and Blake.
Yes, through various banks in Europe, but I didn't like that job, so I discovered in 2008 the Forex market, and I switched to something that is more, I will say, dynamic than stock market and investing in stocks. But I still do like trading the stocks, but I do prefer more trading the Forex market as well.
Let me just take a guess why you didn't like being a stockbroker. I was a commodity broker. I also had a Series 7, and it's probably the same reason Blake left it, is because the main duty of a stockbroker, especially when you're starting, is to make cold calls. How did you like that?
Yes, it was hard. It was hard. It was difficult, and you know, you can't give advice to customers, and when you cannot give advice to customers, it is like selling something you are not believing it. So it is hard.
And how about this? You like here's a cold call. Hello, Mr. Allen. My name's Dale Pinkert. I'm very successful in the market, but I'm working A's today. Your name is under my A column on my lead list, and I'm calling you because I have so much valuable information. I'm still making cold calls. Pretty difficult to overcome, isn't it?
Yes, really difficult.
All right, so Alex, what are we looking at here? I'm interested. I notice on Twitter you kind of give a lot of either or scenarios. Like you'll put some arrows in here, and I would guess if you would tweet this, you would say if we broke out over that red descending triangle line that we're going higher, what would tell you and be an early indication that this dollar rally is terminating and that we could start to head down again?
Yeah, it is pretty hard at the moment, because I do not prefer this consolidation as all the traders in the market as well, but I do believe in levels, and especially the strong one, which are making these patterns work over time. So looking at particular this DXY index and USD, which is the most important in the market also for the stocks and commodities and currencies, the level which needs to be overcome is 101.5, and I always say we need to see a clear daily close. What does it mean? The clear daily green candle above this trend line, the falling trend line, and the 101.5 level. It will be an indication that there is a greater probability for the dollar to continue continue higher. And only in the case of a break below 98.9, we will see a reversal to the downside and a deeper pullback, which means this 200 SMA is the key for the downside, as well as this 100 SMA and the falling trend line is the key for the upside.
Not only that, Alex, back at your 200, you have a breakdown line, you have an uptrend line, you have a lot of confluence there. So, yeah, and you know, to me, even though it's not completely flat, I was taught that descending triangles were potential reversal formations if they break down. So, you know, that's my bias going into it. I know everything and anything can happen, but a lot of confluence. Now, you made a great point, because I still do this, where I try and get an edge on a candle or a breakout or a failure, so I'm in before the herd, you know, if I have a bias. But it actually is much smarter to wait for a confirmation, and you don't know what kind of candle you have till it closes. How long did it take you to learn that, since I'm into my third decade and still trying to be patient enough to wait for a candle to close?
Yeah, it is always hard. I haven't been able to work on that even now. The patience is not still here, so we all get carried away. But I think I am making progress in this. So I prefer patience over trading and much exposure on the market. And now with these clear levels, it is better to wait, as you said. And also, I agree on that descending triangles could be a reversal scenarios. But in this positioning now, and fundamentally and technically, it is hard to say anything about the movement. So we
only God, Nostradamus, and Janet Yellen know.
Yeah,
right.
I think Janet Yellen doesn't know that. She only speaks about that, but she doesn't know that. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe all it would take would be a comment from Trump. You know, what do you think about the fact, you know, he's the first president that I can remember in my trading career that's having a lot of impact on currency markets when he opens his mouth. Have you ever experienced that before from any political leader outside of central bankers?
No, I'm also confused about that, because I think we are now trading the presidents and politicians and pools and everything. We had 3 of this kind of events last year, and now we have one ahead, which is the French elections in Europe. So that is all confusing for us, but looking technically and with experience, we could do something to avoid the pain of losses from these sudden reversals and algos trading, because I read somewhere that there are now programs that are using Twitter sentiment to trade, and that is an improvement of the algos trading, I will say like that.
Huh. What else? I know this is really the linchpin for everything else that you're looking at is the dollar. Any special situations that you think, you know, everything's trade selection. So if the dollar is going to turn, so here's one of Alex's, this is how he tweets a lot of his work. You could see he has 2 arrows. Why do you still think that there's a chance for an up arrow when we're underneath the blue trend line?
Yes, because in the XY there is a space also for consolidation, and in the Euro USD I think also there is a space in consolidation, and I'm afraid of that, because we could continue for even 1 month or 2 with this consolidation, and we have a nice lineup here in this wedge, which is lasting almost 5 to 6 months in Euro USD, and now we are close to breaking it down. But look at this candle now working today. Important, and this is the crucial level, the key level I'm looking at. That is why these arrows you are mentioning on my charts, and I just want to show the people that they need to be patient with these levels and not to rush into anything, because we could have a reversal here and a ride to 1.066, and there everything is possible.
Everything is. So even though it looks like a breakdown, you're skeptical of trying to short the breakdown. It's right at the breakdown level.
Yeah.
And why though? Why?
I would like to see this kind of a candle here. This red candle. I see.
All right.
This full red candle. This is not a good candle.
Okay.
No matter it is in the key level and the range, and it's in the middle of the range somewhere.
So you think it might be a trap? You're open to the possibility that this is a false breakdown?
Yeah, we had this kind of traps almost for 5 months now, and I'm not a believer in this break at this moment, but who knows, maybe Janet Yellen will change that this evening, and some French pulls maybe.
Yeah. Have you ever heard my Janet Yellen imitation?
Yeah, I heard it today.
Okay. What do you think?
It is fantastic. It is so good.
Okay, David Hooper is saying he can't see a screen. Everyone else see the screen? Screen is frozen? Okay.
Do you see it now?
It's all good.
Well, I see the screen.
We got it now. Okay, you can see it now? Okay. Okay. All right, so euro, dollar, what about risk on, risk off? You have any views on U.S. dollar yen? That's really kind of the linchpin for the bond market and the S&Ps, and looks like you think there's that we may put in a bottom here last week because you only have one arrow. If we get through today's highs, you think we'll
exactly. Yes, exactly. That is the point. Above the 111.67, we could see right to this upper wedge line, which is 114. Also, this is the wedge like in the DXY or Euro USD. Only the difference is that this key level maybe on the USD Japanese yen is closer to be broken, not so far looking at this point of the time, but looking from bottoming process here, 1, 2, 3, we could see maybe a break. I heard on your recent comments from Blake about the S&P, and I agree with him that we could have a risk-off, risk-on situation, and the market is believing in risk-off, but we could all be wrong on that. So USD Japanese yen could fly high if we have S&P breaking higher.
Right, and under 110, it looks like we could go to the 108, 109 level. That would be very significant critical support for the yen. And then you have 103.
Exactly. Yes, this is 200 SMA, 108.622, and this is crucial. But let me show you the weekly. It is interesting positioning, and that is why I'm inclined to the
the old ouch! You just stabbed me with Andrew's pitchfork.
Yeah.
Ow! Oh man! Oh, you know, I don't even have a butt anymore. So, all right, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, we do have these two channels Andrew Pitchford's, and this one is medium term. This one on the upside is long term, and this one medium term is on the downside. But more important is this 200 SMA on the weekly, which is 110.29, and it was not broken, and it seems like that
it almost looks like a bull flag, doesn't it? We had that big rally off the election, and we've been marking it off more, correcting more in time than price, and we also have confirmed highs up there too, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so that would argue for possibly even taking out the 118 level again if we got going, wouldn't it?
Yes, and what I see now in the market is something specific. I think that USD is now switching from being maybe a risk-on companion with the S&P 500 to maybe more safe haven, which is it's natural, I will say, like that environment. So
okay, so let me try. I'm sorry I interrupt. You know, people say I interrupt my guests too much, but it's important that whoever is listening understands that. So what you're stating is that if the S&Ps head down and there's risk off, that people will go into the dollar.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not going to get out of the dollar, and a weaker dollar right now is risk on, kind of like it used to be in the old days. You know, from even the lows of the financial crisis, we had a dollar drop 30% and everything else went up 30% in nominal terms. So you think if the S&Ps head up, it'll be with a weaker dollar? Or
maybe so, but I think that consolidation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that consolidation in the S&P 500 could give a dollar a chance. This consolidation here in this broadening wedge will give a dollar a chance to break this 101.5 and goes higher, and then in some case when the S&P, and if the S&P goes below 2,300, the DXY could then turn to retest the broken 101.5, and then after that the correlation will switch, as you said it, when the S&P 500 goes down, the US dollar will go up for a while, I think, and when we did have or do have last leg to the upside of the DXY, I will show you the weekly, and I think we are now in this possibly a bullish wedge, and I'm expecting this.
What's that, 110? 108, 110?
108, 110, yes.
So that'll finally give us euro under parity.
Yes.
97-ish or so.
Yes, exactly. And this could be triggered by some political event, like maybe French elections, maybe some of the Trump interventions on the Middle East, of the U.S. interventions in the Middle East. It will maybe give the trigger of the S&P 500 going down and the US dollar going extremely up.
Okay, so any correction in the S&P will probably be deflationary with a strong dollar and possibly lower everything else except maybe bonds.
Yeah.
It's hard to put the whole jigsaw puzzle together right now, isn't it?
Yes, it's hard. Because of that, we need to watch these levels carefully, and I think we are now in the key levels of or for the medium term or long term direction in the market, as well for stocks, as well for bonds, and as well for the commodities and the dollar.
And your view on Canada and the oil, I'm looking for a pullback in Canada still, maybe to 32, 31. Is this in the oil? Do you correlate Canada with the oil?
Yes, but this correlation now is not so strong.
As it was.
Yes, as it was.
Okay.
This consolidation in the USD and the ride in the oil didn't drag the USD CAD below this trend line and into this maybe support area.
Yeah, you're right. Great point. It hardly took Canada down, and it's been a $6-7 rally in crude.
Yeah. Yes.
Interesting point. Okay.
Which means that it could be a space for the USD CAD to break to the upside from here, or maybe a little spike lower from here.
That's what I'm looking for. And
yes.
Then, yeah. Okay.
And then to go to the upside and to retest this 1.36 level. And
so that would imply a perhaps a correction in crude.
Yes, and
okay.
Yes, I will look at the crude now, and exactly as you said, I'm looking at this retest of this long-term trend line, which was broken to the downside. So 53 is a big level in the crude. We could have some noisy spikes to maybe 53.55, but as expecting the USD CAD to go higher, I expect one more leg lower in the crude to 42-44 zone.
Okay, and a quick look at gold or silver, precious metal view.
Yes.
I'm sure it's all kind of similar with what we've been talking about here.
Yes, it is. And regarding the gold, my view is unchanged. I still see this as a long-term, I will show it on a weekly, as a long-term downtrend. And we are now testing the confluence of the downside support. If it breaks above 1,270, then we could go higher.
But to 1450, 1500. So we're make or break for gold here in your view.
Yes, it's make or break right now. We could see some noisy consolidation ahead, possibly. If the dollar breaks higher, then the gold will certainly.
You think Friday was a stop hunt? You think they picked off a few stops on Friday on the Tomahawk missile event?
Yes.
That was a pretty negative day. So it's really got to get back and take that high out for something real to be happening now, doesn't it?
Yes, it has to take out this 1,275. It is above the 200 SMA. It has to take out this high to continue higher. Unless it does not, this is a short trade and with a good risk reward.
Okay, so if you're bearish gold, this kind of lines up with a question from Luca in the community. What's your preferred currency pair to play dollar strength? Would it be Aussie or Kiwi with your view on commodities if the dollar rallies?
Yes.
Over Euro? Or would it be Euro?
It will be the Aussie dollar, because I think the possible tensions in this geopolitical tensions are riding it down, and the consolidation of the S&P 500 is not doing good. So this could be the play for the gold weakness, and the USD. It has a lot of space here, a lot of space. It was a significant rally, but I drew here double top, and the neckline is exactly here at 0.75, and the break below that will mean that we have almost 300 pip space to be exploited to the downside.
A lot of great looks, Alex. I want to thank you for coming here to edify the FACE community and thank you for being one of the best contributors on my Twitter stream, and I hope that pips rain down on you during the month of April and going forward, my trading warrior brother.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you for everything. Thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to be with your community, and as well, I do like pips training on every member of your community.
And the best way for people to follow you is at Alex, ALEKS FX. That's your Twitter handle.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and you want to mention your business? I know you have a business, and go ahead and mention it.
Yes, we do have a web presentation service for the traders, which is called trendtradingdna.com. You can find a lot of useful stuff there. We are analysts and traders, so we do have a lot of trade alerts and analysis as well. So stop by and find out what is the best for you.
Thank you, everybody. This was Alex Ivanovich sharing his technical work with us today. Everyone, thank Alex for coming here and giving us his time.
Thank you.
Says, thank you.
Have a nice day and goodbye.
All right. See you, Alex.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
This is for the people who said they were experiencing a slight drawdown in their trades. This is all I could say. It ain't nothing but a drawdown, not a margin call. It ain't nothing but a drawdown, not a margin call. But don't be scared if you still believe the call. Don't try to be perfect, that would be a lie. Don't try to be perfect, that would be a lie. But you're better than most, and you can look me in the eye. Watch pace fly, it ain't nothing but a drawdown, not a margin call. It ain't nothing but a drawdown, not a margin call. But don't be worried if you still believe the call. You all face community, have a great day. See you tomorrow after Janet Yellen, and remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See you tomorrow. Adios.